Hi everybody, it's Madison again. Today we're going to be going over a developmental network pathway using characters from one of my favorite TV shows, New Girl. If you guys have not watched this show yet, I would highly recommend it. First, I want to talk to you all about the characters who will be involved in this pathway and what the end phenotype of this pathway will be. In our network, we have Nick, Jess, Winston, Schmidt, and Cece, who are all main characters in the show. This pathway we're going to go through will tell us whether or not Cece will marry Schmidt. The end phenotype, when everything is wild type and functional, is that Cece does not marry Schmidt. Here is our developmental network pathway. We can see that Nick activates Jess, Jess represses Winston, Winston represses Schmidt, and Schmidt activates Cece. When everything is wild type and functional, Cece does not end up with Schmidt. So basically seasons 2 and season 3. Now let's look at what happens when we have a mutation. Here's our original pathway again. We are going to remove Jess from the pathway and make that our single mutation. When Jess is removed, Winston is not repressed, so he is still able to repress Schmidt, and so Schmidt will not marry Cece. We can also look at what would happen if there was a double mutation in our pathway. Here's the original pathway again. In this example, I'm going to remove both Jess and Winston from the pathway. When Jess is removed, Winston is again no longer repressed. But when Winston is removed, Schmidt is no longer repressed. Schmidt is then able to activate Cece and marry her. So we're talking seasons 5 and season 6. All of this ties into real pathways and biological examples. We are going to connect our characters to what really occurs in science. When Nick is activating Jess, essentially he is binding a transcription binding site right in front of Jess, or upstream of Jess. We can think of this as Nick holding his hand out for Jess to grab and hold on to. This activates their relationship and begins the process of them moving forward together in the same way that the binding site activates transcription of different proteins. Isn't that so cool? Here are my sources, and thank you all for listening. See you next time for one last video.